Hey, what's going on, guys? Back following more tornadoes as the atmosphere has gotten cranked up once again in the southern states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, over into Georgia, South Carolina, and moving into the Florida Panhandle, seeing copious rainfall. Just incredible amounts. There's flash flooding occurring as rainfall rates are coming down at 1 to 2, even 3 inches per hour in some places. And once again, the ground is extremely saturated as it's been very wet throughout the parts of, or central parts of Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama, that the rain just simply has nowhere to go. We're following 3 tornado warnings right now as I do this video, and there's a tornado on the ground in southern Mississippi, almost in the same exact area last Sunday on Easter. It's just south of that area, maybe 20-25 miles. There is a tornado on the ground moving in the direction of Hattiesburg, Summerall, Mississippi. That would be in south central Mississippi, moving east at around 40, maybe 50 miles per hour. Let's see. Oh, wow, that one's moving at 68 knots. So some of these storms are moving in the 70 mile an hour range. Just incredible. But there is a tornado, or at least that's what the radar is showing us, a large area of circulation right here just east of Tylertown, and that would be in southern Mississippi. And that energy is moving directly towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi. May even include Summerall. There's a tornado right there. No doubt about it. And it looks like a fairly large tornado. It would be difficult to see as it's raining extremely hard in the area of Columbia, Mississippi. Widespread flooding throughout multiple communities. Just copious rainfall in multiple states. Power outages are in, I think, minimal right now, but that could change as the evening moves forward, as these storms are really starting to gain some momentum. This one here, I've been watching for about 20, maybe 30 minutes when it was over here by Kentwood, and that's in southern Mississippi. And it's moving to the east rather quickly, and it's been actually gaining momentum, getting to be more organized. And what we're seeing here with regard to these colors, I had somebody ask in the earlier live stream, and I apologize I didn't get to the question. I actually didn't see it until later. What we're looking for when we see the bright greens and the bright reds, that's telling us that wind, very high speed wind, is coming away from, actually going away from the radar and coming towards the radar at a very incredible speed that would imply rotation, very fast rotation, which is generally associated with a tornado. So green is coming at the radar, red is going away from the radar. That's rotation right there. When you see that real close together, that's what that means. Excuse me, that's what that means. And you can see there is a TVS right here, south and west of Columbia. A TVS is a tornado right there, mesostrength tornado vortex signature right there in that area, moving towards Hattiesburg at, what speed is that moving at? 47 knots. So that's around 55 miles per hour, moving pretty quickly. Be in the Hattiesburg area. If the storm or tornado holds together and keeps its current track, we'll be in the Hattiesburg area at 7:38ish, maybe 7:40 Hattiesburg time. That would be Mississippi time. That's a very strong system, and it's gaining strength. It's actually gotten bigger. That rotation started out very small, at least compared to what it is now back by Kentwood. Started gaining momentum just over here west of Tylertown. I would say that there's some sort of tornado near Tylertown, or there was. It's moving east now very quickly in the direction of Hattiesburg, Summerall, Columbia. Very wild weather scene right now. Ominous skies, rain coming down at 1 to 2 inch per hour rates. Flash flooding in multiple areas. If you look here at the map, Laurel So-So, Seminary, Collins, Bassfield, all of these communities in Mississippi were involved in the record-setting tornado on Easter Sunday that was 2.25 miles wide. So that was almost a week ago to the hour. I think that occurred actually around 4:30 Mississippi time, so it was just a few hours away from being exactly 1 week apart. I don't know exactly how big this tornado is, but there is a tornado in that general area right there. That's a tornado. So big heads up. You need to find a room that's away from exterior walls, ideally no glass, or a basement if you have one. If you're in these areas, there's a tornado on the loose. And there's also tornado warnings over in Alabama, south and west of Montgomery. There's flash flood warnings in multiple areas in south central Georgia. A lot of heavy rain, very heavy rain. And it's coming down like in buckets right now. That right there, though, we're going to stay on this tornado because it looks like, to me, it's getting larger. That's a large tornado, guys. I've seen these before on here. I've seen them in Mississippi. When was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago, we saw one very similar to this on the Mississippi-Louisiana state line. It was right up in here somewhere, north and slightly west of Jackson on the Mississippi-Louisiana line. That's what it looked like. And it was on the ground, and that's what this one here appears to be, definitely on the ground. Wow. Again, that's headed in the general direction of Hattiesburg, Purvis. Looks like to me it's going to stay north of Lumberton. This area here is under a tornado warning. There's actually 2 tornado warnings for this area. And coincidentally, it was almost a week ago, just shy of a couple hours, exactly, there was tornadoes in this exact area in southern Mississippi last Sunday. National Weather Service out of Jackson, Mississippi, a confirmed, oh my, that's what it looks like on radar, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Pickwick or near Sandy Hook, moving east at 40 miles per hour. This is a PDS. That is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. This is a damaging tornado. Unbelievable situation again, and that's what was happening exactly a week ago today. There was a tornado emergency in this area north of Summerall and Bassfield, Collins, Laurel, So-So, Ellisville. This is a confirmed large tornado in southern Mississippi. You guys need to take appropriate precautions. It does definitely look like a large tornado on radar right here. Been following this for over 30 minutes. I've been following this before I started the live stream, and it was very reminiscent of what we saw back on Easter Sunday on the 12th. That's kind of what that looked like on radar, just being honest with you. And once again, the colors represent wind direction. Green is going towards the radar very quickly, and red is moving away from the radar very quickly, which tells us there's rotation in that area. And rotation is normally associated with tornadoes in these types of situations. And the National Weather Service is calling this a PDS. They don't issue those very often, and that is a particularly dangerous situation. And when they do say that, then you need to find shelter in your home, wherever you're at. If you happen to be in a building somewhere, find a hallway, interior hallway, and hunker down. This is a big tornado, for real. This is a very big tornado headed towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I'll probably be there if it stays together in less than 20 minutes. It's moving along very, very quickly. Storms are moving once again like they were last week at incredible speeds. Seeing some over 70 miles per hour forward speed. Copious rainfall coming down in buckets. Rain starting to pile up. This tornado is more than likely visible. Even if there is a lot of rain in the area, this thing is very large. Very large tornado once again on the ground right down here in southern Mississippi. Moving to the east, slightly northeast. I think it's going at about 50, 55 miles per hour. Be in the Hattiesburg area here real soon. Let's see. Around 7:40. So you're talking less than 20 minutes away from Hattiesburg. Looks like to me it could go between Hattiesburg and Summerall. Don't know. It's difficult to tell. There's a lot of activity in this area right here. Summerall just got into the front of this large supercell thunderstorm. A lot of lightning, probably some high winds in the Summerall area. High winds are starting to approach Hattiesburg right now. And behind that initial wall of thunderstorms, the leading edge, is a very large tornado. Very large tornado. You need to take shelter if you're in those areas. There it is, right there. The red and green represent wind direction. Green coming towards the radar very quickly. Red moving, the light red, moving away very quickly. That implies large rotation. Very large. There's a large tornado on the ground in southern Mississippi, east of Tylertown, headed towards Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg's a very densely populated area, so anybody in that area needs to find an interior room with no glass, preferably, or an interior room away from exterior walls. A basement would be ideal, but I understand not everybody has basements. So interior room, guys, that's a big tornado, big powerful tornado on the ground. Once again, here's where we're at. Southern Mississippi, once again, just hours away from exactly a week ago today. Same scenario unfolding in almost the same exact location. Just south of Bassfield, that's where it occurred. Bassfield, Collins, there's a track of storms up there right now. But the tornado is south of there. Not by far. Here, we can measure how far. Here's the tornado. 24 miles south of the location that set a record last week. The largest tornado ever in Mississippi. 2.25 mile wide. This one here looks very large itself. I don't know how wide. I have no idea of knowing. All I can tell you is compared to other tornado signatures that I've seen on here, this is considerably larger than what I normally see. Good grief. That's a big one. That is a big tornado. And it looks like it's going to fall into that category of a long track tornado. Because I've been following this since it was back here around Kentwood. And that was, how many miles ago? Let's see here. Wow, that's been 40 miles ago. I was following that. And it's still, in fact, it's gotten stronger. It's gotten stronger. What we're looking at on the right, we're looking at two separate screens. The left is just basic radar, shows lightning, shows the direction of the storms. You can see the storm tracks. And what we're looking at over here is a little different layer, if you will, of specified wind direction. That's what we're looking at here, the mean velocity of the wind circulating in this supercell thunderstorm. And that's what we're seeing right there. Giant circulation right there. That's at least a mile wide. That's a big tornado. So that's a big heads up if you're in this area. No joke. That's the real McCoy right there. That's a big tornado. Headed right towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Right there's where we're at. We've got tornado warnings in southern Alabama, southwest of Montgomery. I'm going to go over and check those out here in a minute. That one there looks like it expires in 34 minutes. Was there a tornado on the ground there? That's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. So that one there hasn't necessarily been spotted yet, but it definitely has the capability of doing so. This one here, according to the National Weather Service and this radar, there's a large tornado on the ground. So this one here we need to watch very, very closely because it's headed towards a densely populated area. Hattiesburg, I don't know exactly what the population is, but I've been there before. I've seen the water tower in Hattiesburg. I know that there's a large community there. There's people in Summerall. There's a lot of rural areas, farms and stuff out in through here. They're experiencing tornado right now. If they're south of Columbia, South see, southern Mississippi in Columbia, south of Columbia. There's a tornado on the ground. It's getting stronger, guys. The brighter the colors get, like I just explained, the green is wind coming at the radar. Red is wind going away from the radar. The lighter they get, the stronger they are. So this thing is gaining strength, and it's been on the ground for a while. To me, this looks like another long track tornado, an LTT. Unreal. Take shelter if you're in those areas. This storm, this tornado is a very strong one. Yet again, big tornado. And it's going to be difficult to see it because it's raining so hard. But as big as this tornado is, I think it would more than likely, or at least the edges of it are probably visible. It's very wide. If I had to guess, I'd say that's a mile wide. Just based off of the core. I'm saying that's probably a mile. It's very, very hard to tell. Very hard to tell. If there's a tornado on the ground, there's no mistaking that. That's easy to identify, but trying to get specifics, it's next to impossible from this perspective. But it can tell you a lot, though. If you're looking for tornadoes, you can see them when they do appear, and there's no doubt about it. That's a tornado. This will be updating here any minute, the storm track at least, and we'll have a little better idea of how close, or if this thing's going towards Hattiesburg. Kind of looks like to me it is, but we'll have to wait and see what the guys and gals over at the National Weather Service tell us. But they've already said there's a large tornado on the ground. They're considering this a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation. You seek shelter immediately is what they're saying. And you can see right over here, that's a large system. That's a big supercell rolling into Summerall right now. And it's just on the outskirts of Hattiesburg. And that's where the tornado is at. And there's rotation right there. If you're in Hattiesburg, you need to find an interior room. Interior room away from exterior walls and away from exterior doors. There's going to be flying debris there. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Wow, that's a big tornado, guys. See if they update the track. Holy cow. I'd say that's an LTT candidate. It's been on the ground for a long time. LTT's long track tornado. An LTT and a PDS. You don't see those very often, and we saw those last Sunday in the same almost exact area within 24 miles. Unbelievable. It's happening again. That's a long track tornado. Absolutely. It's been on the ground for a while. Like I said, I was following this before I started the live stream. And then when I saw this thing starting to gain strength, that's when I turned on the live stream. I realized that's a very large storm. So if you're in the area of Purvis especially, it looks like Purvis is going to be feeling the effects of this tornado relatively soon. Purvis, Mississippi, which is south of Hattiesburg. It's just difficult to tell what direction this thing's going to go. The supercell is moving directly towards Summerall and Hattiesburg. The tornado is in the southern quadrant of this particular supercell. It kind of looks like it's moving more of an easterly direction, but it's trying to, as it's rotating counterclockwise, it's trying to go to the north. So it's impossible for me to tell. We'll just wait for an update from the National Weather Service. But that tornado has not decreased. If anything, it's increased in strength. Definitely. See the brighter green? Brighter is windier. Brighter red is windier. Remember, red is coming at the radar. Green is going away. And that means rotation. That's what that means. That's wind that we're looking at. Rotating wind. So that is getting very close to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Summerall's in the middle of the supercell, the north quadrant of the supercell, and there's a tornado just miles, just a few miles south of Summerall right now. It's embedded in that large supercell storm right there. That's absolutely loaded with lightning. Look at that. Unreal. And that looks like a cloud top. That could be a... Holy cow, is that debris? Yeah, we might have debris now. Yep, they've moved it. Now it includes Purvis. It has tracked to the north just a little bit. Oh my goodness, that is a large storm. So they have adjusted the track to include Purvis, but they didn't adjust it very far. This thing could go north. It could go due east. It could go south. But one thing for sure, it's getting stronger. See the brighter green? That's intensifying. Wow. That's a large one. Probably a mile. I was going to look for a mile wide. Look for debris. That's always a telltale sign of see, oh yeah, for sure. See right there, the blue. Yeah, it's consistent with the pink we see over here. That's debris. So you've got debris at a very high position in the atmosphere, probably 25, 30, maybe 20,000 feet. Just an incredible storm. Once again, miles from the record-setting storm of Easter Sunday 2020. Could have another record storm here, record tornado. Yeah, there's big time rotation there. Now you can start to see a little bit of intake on the south side of this storm right there. See the intake? I mean, that's a tornado machine. Big heads up. Purvis, Hattiesburg. Just went south of Columbia, Mississippi. That is a tornado machine. And it's getting brighter. See that lime green right there? That indicates even more wind strength. See the bright red right there? That indicates even more wind going in opposite directions. That's what the green tells us. The green and red. This is where we're at. We're in south central Mississippi. Tornado on the ground. Looks like it's headed in the general direction of Hattiesburg. It's very large. Probably a mile wide, just based off of what we're seeing here. And it looks like it's gained a little bit of strength just in the last couple of minutes. Looks like to me it's going to track north towards Hattiesburg. National Weather Service is advising people to take shelter. Right. Wow, what was that? Holy mackerel, are you serious? Wow. Took a screenshot of that. Man, these things are setting records. Another one. This is a record-setting storm here. South central Mississippi. Electrifying storm. Lightning to the point where it's probably not even countable by the instruments. It's coming out of the sky at such an incredible rate. So Summerall's well into the supercell thunderstorm. It's miles from the tornado, just a few miles south of Summerall is a large tornado on the ground. Southwest of Hattiesburg, large tornado on the ground, headed directly towards a community by the name of Purvis. Big time rotation right there. See it? And that's just south of the area that saw a record tornado a week ago today. 2.25 mile wide tornado. I think it was an EF4. At this particular point in time, we have no idea what strength this is. It's got to be a relatively strong storm to maintain this type of longevity. This is an LTT, a long track tornado. It's been on the ground for a while, at least according to this radar. See that big gust of air right there? Look, watch. It's a big downdraft right there. Yeah, there's a major storm going on right there, headed towards Hattiesburg. You guys need to take shelter. Looks like the population of Hattiesburg is between 40 and 50,000 people. Big tornado just at the edge of town. So if you're in Hattiesburg or know anybody that's in Hattiesburg, I'm sure they're well aware of the severe weather, but there's a tornado right outside of town. Big tornado, and you can start to see more intake over here. See the intake right there? It's a big tornado. Big tornado. Headed towards Purvis, Mississippi right now. This is where we're at, where all that lightning is. Southern Mississippi. Now they've taken down the tornado warning out of southern Alabama, which is good. The tornado warning in southern Alabama has expired, or the tornado disappeared, one of the two. This one here has not. In fact, it's maintaining its strength. In fact, I think the green just got a little brighter. That's why we see the intake over here. Watch. See the intake right there? That gives it more counterclockwise rotation. So the winds just increased, and they've changed the track. Kind of thought maybe it might. So that's got Hattiesburg right in the crosshairs. So if you're in Hattiesburg, you might want to find a interior room. Holy cow. Yeah, it's going towards Hattiesburg. There's 40, 50,000 people there. You guys need to hunker down. Interior room away from exterior walls. Yeah, they've changed. See the tracks here? They've got them extending now into the Hattiesburg area. My goodness, that's a strong storm. See the bright green? Remember, the colors are wind direction. Green coming at the radar, red going away from the radar. And the brighter they are, the stronger they are. And those are very bright. Those are very bright, and they're very big. I mean, sometimes you can see tornadic activity on here, and it might just be one or two. See these pixels? See the little squares? You can see one or two bright green ones and one or two bright red ones, and that can be a strong tornado. Look at how many squares are involved in this. What, 25 each? I mean, this thing is massive. It's absolutely huge. You need to take shelter right away if you're in that area. No joke. That is one big tornado. And it just got stronger. Just opened up a big intake valve right there, like a big 454 big block Chevy. And she's breathing now big time. That is a strong storm. You take shelter. Hattiesburg, West Hattiesburg. Looks like it's going to stay north of Purvis, and it's going directly, directly towards Hattiesburg. That's just what it's showing, guys. Strong rotation. And once again, this is a confirmed tornado from the National Weather Service. That's debris. That looks like debris up in the top of that storm. See the purple and pink? A lot of times, that's the cloud top, when it gets real tall like that. That's the color that it shows up on the radar. And then there's always a chance for large hail, but that looks more like a debris signature, I'm inclined to say, because of what we've seen over here on the right. We've seen rotation for quite some time. And remember, tornadoes pull up and hurricanes push down. So tornadoes generally pull debris up into the cloud tops, and that's possibly what we're seeing over here. That's very well debris, and a large amount of that. So that means it's been on the ground for a while. So there's a big storm headed towards Purvis, Mississippi. Oh, man, if you look directly, well, don't look. Just stay in a safe spot. There's a big storm to the west, slightly northwest, but the tornado's coming directly towards the Purvis area, in between Purvis and Hattiesburg. Looks like it's got a bead on Hattiesburg, but I don't know. It's a very wide tornado. Got to be a mile wide, and I could be underestimating this thing. If I had to guess, I'd say that's a mile wide. Probably pretty easy. Take shelter if you're in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And just stay there until this thing passes. Looks like it's going to hold. Okay, they just updated. They put a severe thunderstorm warning behind the tornadic activity, or at least the tornado signature. They'll probably update the tornado path here in just a minute. They just updated it, though. But I'm sure they'll update it again. This is a PDS. They've labeled a PDS a particularly dangerous situation. They don't do that very often. That's not something that they just throw around out there. When they issue a PDS, particularly dangerous situation, there's something big going on. And that's exactly what that radar is showing us. There is definitely something big going on right there. Look at that. Headed right towards Hattiesburg. Holy cow. Guys need to take shelter if you're in these areas. Hattiesburg, Summerall. That is a large tornado. Okay, we've got some new storm tracks. Kind of went backwards or slowed down or something. I don't know what we got going on here, but it's still going in the general direction of Hattiesburg. Maybe just south of town, but going right towards Purvis. Right in the area of Purvis, Mississippi right now. That's where it's closest to, Purvis. Wow, there's a large signature over here. I don't know if that's debris. Almost has to be. I'm thinking that's debris right there. Pretty much have to be. What I've got here is dual screens opened up. The left screen's the same as the right, same area. We're just looking at different aspects of the storm, different layers. I will say this. The tornado is still there. If anything, it has about the same strength, but it does look like maybe it's gotten a little bit smaller. Remember how I was explaining to you all those little squares, and sometimes just 2 or 3 squares of each color can represent a tornado? Well, we still have a lot. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot there, but there's not quite as many. Maybe it's just the angle of this thing. I don't know. But that's been a long track tornado headed towards the Hattiesburg, Mississippi area. Regardless of whether the tornado impacts or not, hopefully it doesn't, but they're going to get some severe weather. And they could quite possibly, if that's what that signature is right there, they could see debris from this tornado and potentially not be affected by the tornado. Yeah, that's a remote possibility. If that is a debris signature right there, and the tornado's down here, that's rare. You just don't see that very often. But we've still got a very sharp contrast, and that sharp contrast always represents a twister when you see it like that. The bright green and the bright red. So there's a tornado of a large capacity on the ground. You can see right now a segment of that storm is coming up on Hattiesburg. I don't know if that's torrential downpour. If it is, that's an incredible rate. Or it's debris, one of the two. That could be debris from the tornado. Yeah, the tornadoes, it looked like to me it's headed towards Hattiesburg. They've extended the tornado warning now. Boy, it's just barely now on the south side of Hattiesburg. Let's read what they just updated. Jackson, Mississippi National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for East Central Forest County in southeastern Mississippi, East Central Lamar County in southeastern Mississippi until 8:15 p.m. Mississippi time. At 7:44 p.m., a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Baxterville, or 15 miles southwest of West Hattiesburg, Mississippi, moving east at 55 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. Damaging tornado. Weather spotters have confirmed this tornado, and they're advising people to take cover. To repeat, and they're saying it twice, and a large, extremely dangerous tornado is on the ground. Take cover immediately. And you can see the area that they're talking about. Hattiesburg, Summerall's just south or just north of this storm. But it looks like Hattiesburg is going to be impacted by a very strong thunderstorm, if not the tornado itself. The tornado is headed in that general direction. It's very large. It's still very large. Right there it is. That sharp contrast between the bright green and bright red. It indicates rotation. What that means is wind direction. Green coming at the radar, red going away from the radar. Both moving at very high rates of speed. That's what that means. Whoa, that's been on the ground for probably over 50 miles. We'll see where it goes. Right now, it looks like it's going to stay well south of Summerall, but not that far south. Maybe, 12 miles? Let's see. Here it is, right there. Yeah, 13 miles south of Summerall. And the tornado is 18 miles west-southwest of Hattiesburg. But this here, I think this is debris. Look at that. That could be debris going into Hattiesburg. Oh, there's the new storm tracks. Look at that. Wow, they've extended this thing even farther out. Oh, my. Yeah, they've got this tornado going right towards Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg's going to be impacted by this tornado. That's all there is to it. Indirectly, directly, one of the two. Yeah, it's right there. It's still there. Looks like to me it's going directly at Hattiesburg. Oh, my goodness. If you guys are in Hattiesburg or anywhere near Hattiesburg, you need to be in a safe zone. This reminds me a lot of what we saw last Sunday on Easter. An LTT, a long track tornado. And to be honest, it looked identical to what we're looking at now on radar. It looked identical. It really did. You got extensive tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. As you can see over here, look at Hattiesburg. Look at that big pink anomaly on the radar. That more than likely is debris. And I'll tell you why. Generally, if that's cloud height, that's an echo from the top of the cloud, there would be more orange around the area. It wouldn't just that's got to be debris from this tornado, because there would be more orange. It wouldn't just, that center would be like a pillar almost, and the storm would be more spread out. There would be more areas of 40 and 50,000. That's telling us that's about 70,000 feet in the air. Hold on. Yeah, look at that. 66,000 feet. That is insane. Whoa. 60, 61. It's got to be debris, guys. Either way, that's a strong signature. You don't see that on radar very often. That could mean a couple of things. I don't know, but that's something that would justify, like the National Weather Service has said, need to take shelter now. Tornadoes still together. You can see the bright green and bright red. You've still got a tornado there going actually directly at Hattiesburg. There's 40, 50,000 people there. Need to take shelter, guys, if you haven't already. Wait for this thing to pass. It's going to be a few minutes. Yeah, it's a large tornado. Oh my, now we're getting more bright green again. See how these things kind of go through cycles? You could see it over here on the right. And I'm staying on this, guys, because this is a big deal. It's going right towards a very densely populated area. I don't think there's any other, not right now that I see. There's no other tornado warnings or watches. Well, the whole area is under tornado watch, but there's no tornado warnings other than this one right now. It's going towards a densely populated area. That's a very unusual signature right there that just went into the Hattiesburg area. Look at that. Just went into the Hattiesburg, Mississippi area. And again, I can't tell if that's debris, if that's a cloud top. I mean, it very well could be, but it just almost looks anomalous, to be honest with you. But we've still got a tornado signature over here. Lime green, bright red. It's moving at about 35 knots. It's around 40 miles per hour. Directly towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I mean, the rain is coming down at staggering rates, just inch to probably 3.5 inches per hour in places. So that would make tornadoes difficult to even see if you're on the ground because it's raining so incredibly hard in some areas. But that's been on the ground since way back here at Kentwood. And it's still there. Still there. Hope everybody in Hattiesburg is in a safe zone. This isn't an ordinary thunderstorm here, guys. Not by a long shot. I don't know what that was. It just went over Hattiesburg right there. I'll be talking about this day for a while. My goodness. That could have been a debris cloud right there. It's very possible. I have no way of knowing from this perspective. I mean, I've seen debris balls like that, but they're not generally that big. But then again, you know, this is a very large tornado that's been on the ground for a long time. Probably, how long has it been on the ground for? It was southwest of Tylertown, over here by Kentwood. Let's just look and see. Nearly 70 miles. Still there. Oh my, that's going right towards Hattiesburg. If you're in Hattiesburg, you need to be in an interior room with no glass, preferably, or at least a room that's away from exterior walls. A basement would be ideal. Purvis went right through this storm less than 5 minutes ago. Purvis, Mississippi. Yes, this energy's coming towards North Carolina. But it'll be a while, Lola. I just got a message. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to watch this radar. This is bearing down on Hattiesburg right now. Yeah. Rhonda Kelly just left a message that the National Weather Service said there's a massive tornado on the ground headed towards Hattiesburg. And she's 100% correct. That's what we're watching right here. I hope everybody in Hattiesburg was paying attention to the weather, because that is one big tornado. Oh my. That is not a good situation. Hope everybody was it's there now, so you need to be in your safe place. Interior room away from exterior walls, preferably no glass. Usually that's like an interior bathroom away from exterior windows. A basement would be ideal. But you've still got a large tornado there. Just went through the area of Purvis, and it's almost at Hattiesburg right now. I don't know what this is over here, guys. Normally, you know, the pink and burgundies and light purples represent a cloud height, whether it be 60. Usually it's in the 60,000 foot range. That's normally what that means. But I don't think that's what's going on here. I think that's some sort of a large debris cloud. I really do. Remember, tornadoes pull up, hurricanes push down. And this thing's been on the ground for several miles. It's probably pulled up a lot of debris, depending on where it went through, you know. If it went through several communities, then it could have a lot of shingles, you know, who knows, sheet metal, a variety of things. Privacy fencing, that is unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, there's definitely debris in this area. That is a large tornado. Looks like the northern edge of the storm is going to stay just south of Summerall, but looks like it's going to make a direct impact into Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Yeah, it's just right outside of town. Holy mackerel. That's a large tornado, guys. Wow, that is unreal. They just extended the severe thunderstorm warnings to past Hattiesburg now, so that tells me that this storm is expected to even maintain its strength past Hattiesburg. And it's been at it for a long time. It's been doing this now for nearly an hour. Nearly an hour. Unbelievable. Yeah, something happened there in Hattiesburg. I don't know if that was a debris cloud, if that was super intense rain. If it was rain, if that right there was rain, then that was record rainfall. Whatever that was some sort of a record. Whether it was rainfall, if that was a debris cloud, that was probably one of the largest ever seen on radar. I don't know. It's behaving very strange. Something strange just happened in Hattiesburg. I can tell you that. How large? It's probably a mile wide. I've had somebody ask how large it is. It's at least a mile. At one time, it was probably larger than a mile wide. Easy. And I could be underestimating it. Power outages in the area, we'll have to look and see. It's not real time, but I'm very confident there's several with multiple power outages. This thing was over a mile wide. Easy. I can't say for sure. It's impossible for me to tell from this perspective. I watched the record-setting storm last Sunday that went through Collins and Soso and Laurel. It looked almost identical to this, if that's any help. And that storm set a state record at 2.25 mile wide. Is this identical? It looks identical on radar. Let's just put it that way. It looks identical to the state record-setting storm of Easter Sunday. I mean, I feel like I'm watching it all over again, to be honest. And right up here is where it occurred. Right here. Went right through there in Collins and Soso. And this one is occurring just south of that area. I mean, who would have ever thought that would have occurred again? That's a large, over a mile wide, guys. Over a mile wide. At one time, it could have been much wider than that. All I can say is it looked very similar to what we saw last week when we saw a record tornado go through South Mississippi that was 2.25 miles wide. This one looked very similar. That's all I can say. I can't say exactly. I know it's over a mile. This thing was huge. Still together. See the bright green and bright red? That's a sharp contrast between wind direction. The green is wind coming at the radar. Red is wind going away from the radar. When you have wind at that speed going opposite of each other, that creates rotation. And that's how you can identify a tornado amongst all of this color and action over here. That was a tornado. That was a very large tornado that was on. Oh, wow. They just updated that. Oh, man. It just got stronger. How? That is impossible. See how it's brighter red now and brighter green? Oh, I see how. There's a big intake over here on the left. Look, right there. See that intake? Just opened up again. It's like a small, very powerful hurricane. Except tornadoes pull up, hurricanes push down. That tornado's still together south of Hattiesburg. They're feeling it right now, and they have been for the last 15 minutes. That tornado is just on the edge of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I don't know what this pink thing is over here. I think that was a debris cloud. I honestly do, just based off of how quickly it disappeared. Because that tornado just kind of went through a recycling phase. And when it recycled, that pink cloud quickly disappeared. And they don't normally disappear that fast if they're cloud tops. See how fast that disappeared in about 2 frames? That tells me that had weight to it. And gravity took hold of it. That's why it disappeared right there above Petal, however that's pronounced. I hope I got it right. But there was a debris cloud, I think, right there that just disappeared. The winds that were holding that aloft let it go. That's how I perceived that. It could be wrong, but something happened over Hattiesburg. Large tornado, and there was something else aloft over Hattiesburg. I think it was debris. Based off of, someone just asked what the wind speeds would be. And honestly, guys, from this perspective, I can only speculate, and I don't want to speculate too much. You guys know tornadoes have incredible speeds. This has been an incredible storm. It's been on the ground for over 50 miles. It's been maintaining its strength. I would say it was at least an EF3, winds of over 150 miles per hour. I think we could safely say that. I don't want to speculate too much. I do know it's very big. I can say that for sure. This thing was big, and it's still big. It's just going through a recycling phase or something, but it's still together just on the outskirts of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Amazing, but something went over Hattiesburg, Mississippi right there, and I think that was a debris cloud because it disappeared so quickly. Watch, 2 frames, it's gone. And if that was a debris cloud, it was several miles wide. And that would be an indication of how strong that and large that tornado currently still is. Still there. It's right there. See if there's any other tornado warnings anywhere. Again, we're in southern Mississippi. Don't see any other tornado warnings. I see a severe thunderstorm warning over here south of Montgomery, Alabama. But this is where there's been a PDS. PDS is a particularly dangerous situation. The National Weather Service does not issue that statement very often, but when they do, they have good reason for it. And today it was because there was a large, very wide tornado in the general area of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Something went over Hattiesburg, Mississippi, right there. You're looking at on the left-hand side. See that maroon pink cloud? I think that was a debris cloud. And if that was a debris cloud, it was several miles wide. And as it disappeared so quickly, I think it was a debris cloud. Could be wrong. I'm just trying to make sense of everything that we're seeing here and try to keep it into some sort of perspective. One thing we do know, we've got and still have a large tornado on the ground. Been on the ground for quite some time. It's in the Hattiesburg, Mississippi area. Something went over Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It wasn't the tornado. The tornado is just south of town. See it right here? See the bright green and bright red? That is still a large tornado. And you can see an intake over here on the left. That tells you that it's got counterclockwise rotation still. So Hattiesburg felt a tornado. There's no doubt about it. They're feeling it right now. But I think a debris cloud went over Hattiesburg and landed somewhere near Petal or Petal, Mississippi, right over here. I think gravity got a hold of it finally and pulled it to the ground. I think the wind let up just enough when it went over Hattiesburg that it pulled it down to the ground. That's how I'm seeing it. I could be looking at it. No, that's just how I see it. That's a debris cloud. Definitely debris. And then now we've got a flash flood warning compounded by a tornado warning compounded by a severe thunderstorm warning, all in the Hattiesburg, Mississippi area. That is a lot going on at one time. That reminds me of last weekend. That's what we saw. That is exactly what we saw. The storm is heading east-northeast. King David at 50, right around 55 miles per hour. Here's where we're at. They've just extended, see how they extended the red square rectangle here? They've extended the tornado warning now to include New Augusta. Try to stay on top of this here. Richton, and then any other communities that may be in here just north of Beaumont. And all of these communities are in southeastern Mississippi. So once again, they've extended the tornado warning, and that's the tornado that I don't know if it impacted Hattiesburg or not. I'm sure it did to some degree. I don't think it was a direct impact, but something anomalous went over Hattiesburg. I can say that right there. We can see it. Something anomalous went over Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Something very strange just went over Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I'm inclined to believe it was a large debris cloud, but that's not behaving like a typical cloud top echo. That's all I'm saying. We've still got a large tornado on the ground, probably a mile wide, moving east-northeast at 55 miles per hour in the direction of New Augusta, Richton, Mississippi. And this is an LTT, a long-track tornado. It's been on the ground for over 50, 60 miles, probably closer to 70 miles. Just incredible. And it looks like Hattiesburg may have missed the center of rotation of this storm, may have missed the core. But it was still, it's still going by Hattiesburg right now. This thing is so large. It reminds me of last weekend, guys. I feel like I'm sitting here watching a rerun of last week's tornado. Other than this debris cloud here, whatever's going on over Hattiesburg, that I did not see last weekend. Even with the unbelievable tornado that set a state record, third largest in the United States, I didn't see anything like that. So something very unique just happened in the Hattiesburg area. I'm not an expert. I'm a long-time viewer, and I've never seen anything act like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of storm cloud tops and echoes, but that looks like a large debris cloud that got pulled down by gravity right there as the wind let up. The wind let up just enough to pull it down. So we've got a lot going on here. Flash flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, expanding now over into southwestern Alabama. And that's courtesy of this large storm that's heading that direction. And we're going to follow it into Alabama. But we still have a large, very wide tornado in southern Mississippi. And that's what we're looking at here on the right. The sharp contrast between the red and the green, the bright colors, the red and green. When they touch, especially when they touch, then that's a confirmation of rotation. And this is showing a very large signature over a mile wide. I don't know exactly. The National Weather Service will have to, survey the damage like they did the last tornado that went through north of here. And at its widest point, it was 2.25 miles wide. I would say this one here rivaled the tornado of Easter Sunday. I would say it did. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I'm just saying, based off of what I'm seeing on radar, this is exactly what I watched last weekend. It looked identical. That went through Soso and Laurel and Bassfield. Looked just like that. Same size and everything. I think this one might be on the ground a little bit longer. Unbelievable. So once again, we've got now flash flood. Let's see what the flash flood warning expires in 2 hours and 45 minutes. National Weather Service out of Jackson, Mississippi. Flash flood warning for central Marion, southeastern Forest County, and Lamar County in southeastern Mississippi until 11 p.m. Mississippi time. At 8 o'clock, 8:03 p.m., Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Flash flooding is ongoing and expected to begin shortly. I was trying to see if maybe it said how much rain came down. It did not. It's been raining so hard it's probably impossible to tell at this point. But enough to cause flooding, and I certainly agree. I believe that easily. Been raining very hard through these areas, and the ground is saturated. So look at the downdraft back here going through New Orleans. Look at that. Look at the downdraft coming off the backside of that supercell. It's going clear down south of New Orleans. Look at that. Oh, wow. You just witnessed history right there. That was another historic storm. Unbelievable. Can't believe I just saw that. Wow. All right, we've got this storm again gaining momentum with regard to the tornado aspect of this storm. It's getting stronger once again. It kind of went through a recycling phase, and that's when we saw this debris cloud drop out of the sky right there. It just dropped, and that's when it kind of went through a recycling moment, and now it's getting stronger again. That's why the National Weather Service has extended the tornado warning over into New Augusta, Richton, that would be in southeastern Mississippi, because this tornado is a long ways from done. It just re-strengthened again based off of what we're seeing here. See the bright red and bright green? That's a large, powerful tornado that just went through the Hattiesburg area. They were right on the northern edge of at least a mile-wide tornado. At least. And that could be conservative. Something went over Hattiesburg. Still don't know what that was. I mean, yeah, it could be a cloud top, but it's not behaving like a cloud top. Acting more like a debris cloud. Tornado still on the ground. Large, very wide tornado is now just passing Hattiesburg, Mississippi, going into the general area of New Augusta. Tornado warning for that area. Let's see what the exact details are for the next 42 minutes. This is out of Mobile, Alabama. National Weather Service in Mobile, Alabama has issued a tornado warning for northern Perry County in southeastern Mississippi until 9 p.m. That would be local time. At 8:04 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 5 miles northwest of McLaurin or 5 miles south of Hattiesburg, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Tornado, radar indicated tornado. Flying debris, this is a dangerous storm and will be near New Augusta around 8:20 p.m. and will be near Richton around 8:35 p.m. And they're advising people to take cover now. And that's from the good guys and gals out of the National Weather Service of Mobile, Alabama. And we're seeing the sharp contrast between the very bright colors here. That indicates rotation. Still may not be on the ground, but there's still rotation in that supercell thunderstorm right by New Augusta. In fact, it's on top of New Augusta right now as we do this video. See right there? What a storm. What an incredible storm. Loaded with lightning, high winds, extremely large tornado that's still out there in some capacity. I don't know if it's in the clouds right now. They'll do that. Tornadoes will touch down and go back up, touch down, go back up. This one has been doing that for an hour now. Okay, it does look like it's getting a little bit smaller. If that's not a recycling phase, if it's not playing possum, it does look like it might be getting a little bit smaller. I mean, it's got to at some point. This thing has been unbelievable. Holy cow. I mean, this thing has been in tornado mode since way back in, like, Kentwood. Is that? Yeah, Kentwood. That's several miles back to the west, slightly southwest. You see, it just went past Hattiesburg. So Hattiesburg now is experiencing more than likely torrential rain. Looks like they're in a very heavy downpour right now. In fact, all of this area that you see in the dark orange and regular color orange is very heavy rain. A lot of water in those clouds, especially behind this tornado. Tornado may be up in the clouds now. It's impossible to tell from this perspective. I'm going to show you guys what the GOES 16 looks like, so people in other communities, actually other states, what's headed that direction tonight, even after dark, obviously after dark, but into tomorrow. There's the storms, and here's the one that we're following in Mississippi that's been producing the large tornado. Look at that thing. That black area, that's where the tornado was. So all of this energy, you can see, is moving to the east at around 40 miles per hour. In some cases 50. It's going to impact Georgia later on this evening. South Carolina, North Carolina, parts of northern Florida potentially. This has been an incredible storm. This hasn't been updated yet. This is not real time. We're over here at hailreports.com. They do have or at least a tornado on the ground in southern Mississippi. Power poles were snapped along the highway, along Mississippi Highway 35. And that was in the southwest of Hattiesburg. So more than likely, that was the tornado right there. And it was on the ground from Kentwood. It's still on the ground up into the East Hattiesburg area. I was going to look for power outages here real quick. And that makes total sense. We've got 21,000 out in Mississippi, 15,000 in Alabama. And more than likely, those numbers are going to increase as the evening moves forward, because these storms are going to continue for a while. Hopefully they won't all be tornadic, but I think another big component of these storms is going to be flooding. There's a lot of water coming down in some areas that it's coming down at very fast rates. 1 to 2 or 3 inches an hour. That's going to accumulate very quickly on saturated soil. All right, we've got another anomaly, it looks like, going on over Richton. That is one strange storm. That could be a debris cloud again. Let's just take a look at something else here real quick. Hang on, guys. It's impossible to tell. In this case, I'm too close to the Doppler. Okay, they've extended the tornado warning even further as the tornado remains. See it right there? It's still there. This could be yet another record-setting storm. All right, new tornado warning right here issued by the National Weather Service out of Mobile, Alabama. Tornado warning for Greene County in southeastern Mississippi until 9:15 p.m. At 8:22, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near New Augusta, 8 miles southwest of Richton, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Tornado and quarter-size hail. Radar indicated rotation. And yes, it does. This is a tornadic thunderstorm and will remain mainly over rural areas of Greene County. Take cover now if you're in the path of this storm, as it has definitely been a doozy. It's been making a path all the way across southern Mississippi for quite some time. Now we're seeing that anomaly once again. I mean, it appears very quickly and then it disappears very quickly. And I'm talking about this. It looks like a long 2x4 in the sky right there. That is just so strange. Yeah, normally that indicates cloud height. I get that. I know how to read these things, but that has got some incredible downdraft and updraft speed, if that is in fact the case. If that's not a debris cloud, that storm has got some amazing updraft strength. That's all I can say. Absolutely unbelievable. In the areas of New Augusta, that's where the tornado, or at least the rotating supercell, is at. New Augusta, I would say Beaumont, Mississippi is probably feeling this storm, as it looks like the tornado is, or at least the wind directions. That's all we can say. I don't know if a tornado's on the ground or not at this point. But the bright red and the bright green represent wind direction. Green coming at the radar, red going away from the radar at very high speeds. The brighter they are, the faster they are. So once again, they're cranking up to incredible speeds. Have no way of knowing exactly how fast. Now they've extended this yet once again to include right on the edge of Leakesville. Is that in Alabama or Mississippi? That is right on, or very close to, the state line of Alabama. Got flash flood warnings on top of tornado warnings, on top of severe thunderstorm warnings. Just incredible. If you guys are in the path of this storm, if you haven't already went through it, let's see if there's power outages in Hattiesburg. I'm almost sure there is. But this is not real time, so it says there's 21,000 without electricity. Yeah, there's Clark County. Covington County, again, got a few out. Marion County. And this is not real time, so I'm sure that will update. In Alabama, most of them are concentrated in Coosa County. Kind of mainly that are Chilton, Coosa, and Tallapoosa counties. But look for those numbers to go up as this massive storm system makes its way across southern states. I'm talking about Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And this massive storm here that just went through the Hattiesburg area. Wow, that probably set some sort of record. I've seen some things on there that actually look quite anomalous, to be honest with you. Wow. So yeah, we've still got a rotating supercell in southern Mississippi. I don't know if it's the same exact tornado, but this storm definitely has a history of producing tornadoes, very large tornado, and can do it again. And you can see they've extended this now from Hattiesburg. Now it's gone to even farther distance, almost to the Alabama border. In fact, it does go right to the Alabama border. I can't believe that downdraft headed down towards New Orleans. What a storm. This whole area here, tornado warning, tornado warning. It'll be interesting to see if it continues over into Alabama. If it does, it looks like it's primarily going to be in a rural area, which is good. I mean, if you got to have tornadoes, which we're going to have tornadoes, we'll have them again in the future. It would be nice if they were always out in a rural area, away from everybody, even farms, you know. If it does get extended, which it looks like the track of this storm does go outside of the red rectangle here, it's in a rural area. So that is the only good thing I see right now. Other than, I will say, I mean, we've still got rotation there, but it's not quite as profound as it was. I will say that. Not nearly as profound as it was. Still there, though. It's definitely still there. In the Richton area, New Augusta, It'd be east of Hattiesburg, and Hattiesburg is in torrential downpours right now and has been for a while. They're going to be experiencing flash flooding in Hattiesburg, just a little bit of everything. Flash flooding, high winds, quite possibly experienced a tornado. Unbelievable. Yeah. I just had somebody say that pink cloud, which normally, yeah, it's a echo, it's a cloud top. The higher up it gets, then the larger hail it's going to produce. I understand that. It's just behaving a little differently than I'm used to seeing on here. I see hail all the time on here. I get that. That's what this is showing down here too. But that could also be debris because it's right on the outer edge of a tornado. So tornadoes usually don't reach up into the 65,000 foot range, and that's right where the tornado's at. So yeah, it could be hail. I understand that. I know how to read these radars, but that's just acting in a very unusual manner. That's all. Yeah, normally it's hail. Under normal circumstances, when we don't have all these tornadoes and 2 mile wide or mile wide tornadoes in the area, of course, that's what the pink means. It means hail because it means height, usually, unless it's very dense. And then something very dense, that can show up at 30,000 feet. So there's different ways to interpret that. You just can't assume, oh, that's hail. You got a massive wedge tornado on the ground not far from there. That could easily be debris. Easily. And now it looks like it's recycling once again. It's not near as big as it was, but it's entering this Leakesville, which is right on the Alabama-Mississippi state line area, which is primarily a rural area. So maybe it can go over there and kind of fizzle out. I mean, this thing's been on the ground all the way from Kentwood, and if it continues, it will reach the state line. And it's still organized. It's difficult to see because we're getting a lot of ground-based clutter or something in through here. It's very difficult to see. Still there, though. It's a sharp contrast between red and green. Just incredible. Now they've extended the flash flood warnings over into Alabama. So we've got flash flood warnings coming into Alabama from the east and from the west. Look. They've extended these in Georgia over into Alabama, and now they're extending from Mississippi into Alabama. So the severe weather is convening on both sides of Alabama. Going to be a busy night in Alabama. I think this tornado might be finally slowing down some. I really do. I think it might be slowing down some. What an amazing storm. Hope everybody in Hattiesburg and everywhere in the Purvis area, New Augusta, hope everybody came out okay and was in a safe spot. What an amazing storm. Followed that storm for at least an hour. I did, and I was watching it before I went on the live stream. See, for some reason I'm getting clutter over here. You can see the Doppler right there, and I'm on the close to the outer edge of the Doppler. So your signal is not quite as good over here. You can still see sharp contrast between the bright red and green. It's still there. It's a rotating cloud, probably at best. I don't think that's a mile-wide tornado on the ground like it once was. It definitely once was, absolutely. So I'm sure that we'll be getting reports anytime when the conditions start to slow down some, but it's still pouring in the Hattiesburg area. I mean, absolutely pouring down rain. So it's going to be very difficult to get out and assess any type of damage safely under these types of conditions. Just incredible. Once again, severe weather convening on Alabama from both directions, the east and the west. Flash flooding up here from the east and the west. Quite possibly a tornado warning intertwined into a flash flood warning coming into Alabama. It's going to be a busy night in Alabama, especially north of Mobile, in the Montgomery, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Alexander City. They've already seen quite a bit of rain today off and on. But I think this storm here is, at least the tornado side, is finally starting to slow down some. But look for more later on tonight, guys. Don't let your guard down at all. Just by looking at that GO 16 right here. That atmosphere is highly agitated. You can even see powerful systems offshore. Look at that. Probably generating large water spouts off the coast of Georgia, South Carolina. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Look at that. Very large water spouts, more than likely. All right, I don't see much left of the large tornado. I do see a little bit. That could be just rotation in the clouds. Right there. But it's not, well, yeah, it's nothing like it was. Nothing like it was. Wow, what a storm. Hope everybody came out good. We'll be interested in hearing any type of reports from around the Hattiesburg area, especially, as this was an overachiever by a long shot. That was one big tornado at one time. How big it got, I don't know. Like I said, a mile wide could be an underestimate of that thing. At its peak, I'm sure it was much, much wider than that, with very high wind speeds. But there's no way to even say if it was an EF1 from this location. All I know is it was big. It was aesthetically big on radar. That's all you can tell from here. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to have to give my voice a break. I just wanted to follow this storm as it was going through the very densely populated area of Hattiesburg and Purvis and all these communities here. Summerall, luckily it stayed south of Summerall. Now it's moving into what's left of it. I don't think there's much left of the tornado. Maybe a little bit. There is some cloud rotation in the area of Beaumont, Mississippi, but it's moving away from Beaumont. It's moving towards the Alabama state line, where there are multiple flash flood warnings extending into central Georgia, central Alabama. The things you see off of the coast here are special marine advisories for high waves, and that's the storms that I just showed you right there. Those storms right there are stirring up the ocean over here off the coast of Georgia. I mean, this thing is huge. So anyway, it looks like the tornado has toned down some. Hopefully everybody's okay. That's the main thing. Hope everybody got in a safe spot. Hopefully there wasn't too much damage. But that at one time was a very large tornado, very powerful tornado based off of its size and the intensity that I saw in here. Very strong, powerful. I have no idea how strong. You cannot tell from here, but I know it was very large. In order to get that big, it has to have a certain amount of strength to it. So probably a very strong category storm or tornado that went through the Hattiesburg area. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here for now. Stay alert tonight, as this severe weather is going to be around for several more hours to come, and even into tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there, guys.